Hello, you are watching News Mongolian MNB World. I'm your host, Bogd Khan Mountain. And for our top stories for today. Asian Development Bank grants $100 million loan to strengthen Mongolia's fiscal, financial, and economic resilience. Students organized a cleanup at Bogd Khan Mountain. Dota 2 national team won silver medal at the Asian Games. For the news, stay tuned. The Asian Development Bank has approved a $100 million loan to strengthen Mongolia's fiscal, financial, and economic resilience. According to the Asian Development Bank, Mongolia is vulnerable to volatility in commodity markets and other external shocks because of its dependence on mining revenue.
The Strengthening Fiscal, Financial, and Economic Resilience Program supports reforms to strengthen tax revenue mobilization, debt management, banking sector stability, and the private sector's role in economic development. Mongolia's economy experiences repeated boom and bust cycles. The current growth trajectory is the third major expansionary economic cycle since 2008. Underpinning the importance of implementing and accelerating structural reforms to build resilience. The program supports tax revenue growth through structural improvements in domestic tax administration and increased alignment with international tax treaties around profit shifting and the automatic exchange of information. Mongolia's debt sustainability will be enhanced through the introduction of a risk-based approach to debt management, the strengthening of local capital markets, and increased fiscal transparency. The program will also improve finance sector stability and resilience by boosting banking sector supervision and regulation, enhancing non-performing loan resolution, and promoting financial consumer protection. Institutional reforms will strengthen the upstream environment for private sector development through relevant legal reforms, support public-private partnerships, and enhance the Development Bank of Mongolia's performance. ADB was established in 1966. It is owned by 68 members, with 49 from the Asia-Pacific region.
In an inspiring display of environmental action, some 60 students volunteered to clean up the surroundings of Bogd Khan Mountain, a popular destination for hikers and nature enthusiasts. Their efforts sent a powerful message about the importance of preserving our natural treasures.
Ulaanbaatar's Bogd Khan Mountain is a favorite spot for hikers looking for breathtaking views and connecting with nature. In recent years, the influx of visitors has had a negative side, with litter polluting the once pristine landscape. Recognizing the urgent need for action, 60 students from local schools came together to organize a cleanup campaign. Armed with trash bags, gloves, and unwavering determination, they embarked on a mission to restore the mountain's natural beauty. At first, I thought there wouldn't be much to clean, but this area we're standing in was quite littered. We picked up a lot of trash here.
Trash and littering degrades the environment we live in. As long as we live in this city, we should protect our environment. We've collected a lot of cans and bottles thrown away by hikers. We've monitored this area for the past few months. I don't know which authority or organization is responsible for keeping this area clean, but I'm proud of our young people for making the time to voluntarily come clean this area.
For several hours, these students combed through the mountain's trails and surrounding areas, meticulously picking up discarded plastic bottles, food wrappers, and other trash left behind by visitors.
Please take a look at current affairs of Mongolia.
On October 2nd, at the Hangzhou Asian Games, the Mongolian Dota 2 national team finished its games with a silver medal, losing to the Chinese national team in the finals by 2-1. The Mongolian national team, which won the first match of the finals, lost 2 maps in a row and thereby won the silver medal. The Mongolian national team qualified for the quarterfinals by leading Group C, which included the national teams of Myanmar and Uzbekistan. Therefore, the team beat the Kazakhstan team by 2-1, which included Neidis Winzer's team, Malik and Meladi, and qualified for the semi-final. After that, the team qualified for the final after beating the Kyrgyzstan national team 2-0, according to the gogo.mn website. The Mongolian national team includes players from the IGC eSport team, which plays in the DPC, the biggest Dota 2 league. Chinese player Wang Aim Chunyu reflected on the strength of the Mongolian national team after the finals of 2023 Asian Games in Dota 2. The words of this esportsman were published on Twitter in an abridged version. Aim believes that the Mongolian team is a strong team and noted that he doesn't understand those people who consider this team weak. Member of Parliament Dilgar Sakhanborkhu has been designated as a cabinet member and the chair of the National Committee for Easing Traffic Congestion in Ulaanbaatar, while another member of Parliament, Inkbayar Batumur, has been appointed as the Minister of Justice and Internal Affairs. These appointments received approval from the Parliament of Mongolia. The Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyurtan Lobsan Namsra, issued an official order for these appointments and presented it to the newly appointed ministers. Following the resignation of Samyabazar Dalgarsurung, who served as the governor of Ulaanbaatar and mayor of the capital city, and Sukhbatar Jamiortla, who held the position of cabinet member and chair of the National Committee for Traffic Congestion Reduction in Ulaanbaatar, the Prime Minister made his decision to appoint Nyambatar Hishke, the Minister of Justice and Internal Affairs, as the new governor of the capital and mayor of Ulaanbaatar, in addition to the other aforementioned appointments.
Please take a look at currency exchange rates provided by the Mongol Bank. Now here comes foreign news partnered with international news agencies. Plumes of smoke were seen over Gaza City on Sunday as Israel launched retaliation strikes after a surprise attack by Hamas militants the day before. In an assault of startling breadth, Hamas gunmen used explosives to break through the border fence including Gaza, then crossed with motorcycles, pickup trucks, paragliders and speedboats on the coast.
They rolled into as many as 22 locations outside the Gaza Strip early Saturday morning, including towns and other communities as far as 24 kilometers from the Gaza border, while Hamas launched thousands of rockets at the Israeli cities. Israeli media said at least 300 people were killed and 1,500 wounded in Saturday's attack. Hamas fighters took an unknown number of civilians and soldiers captive into Gaza, and a line of Israelis with missing relatives sneaked outside the police station in central Israel to supply investigators with DNA samples and other means that could help identify their family members. Israel struck 426 targets in Gaza, its military said, flattening residential buildings in giant explosions. Among the 313 killed in Gaza were 20 children and close to 2,000 people were wounded, the Palestinian Health Ministry said. Tanks were deployed in southern Israel on Sunday as defense forces stepped up operations against Hamas militants following surprise attacks the day before. Israeli soldiers have been battling Hamas fighters in the streets of southern Israel and launched retaliation strikes that leveled buildings in Gaza. There was still some fighting underway more than 24 hours after an unprecedented surprise attack from Gaza in which Hamas fighters, backed by a volley of thousands of rockets, broke through Israel's security barrier and rampaged through nearby communities.
Powerful earthquakes killed at least 2,000 people in western Afghanistan, a Taliban government spokesman said Sunday. It's one of the deadliest earthquakes to strike the country in 2 decades.
The figures couldn't be independently verified, but if correct, the toll would eclipse that of an earthquake that hit eastern Afghanistan in June 2022, striking a rugged mountainous region, flattening stone and mud brick homes and killing at least 1,000 people. Saturday's magnitude 6.3 earthquake hit a far more densely populated area near Afghanistan's fourth-largest city, Herat. It was followed by strong aftershocks. The United States Geological Survey said the quake's epicenter was about 40 kilometers northwest of Herat city. It was followed by 3 very strong aftershocks measuring magnitude 6.3, 5.9, and 5.5, as well as lesser shocks. On Sunday, people attempted to dig out the dead and injured with their hands in Herat, clambering over rocks and debris. Survivors and victims were trapped under buildings that had crumbled to the ground, their faces gray with dust.
The top Palestinian UN representative Riyad Mansour urgently calls for an end to the deadly conflict, stressing Israel's need to change course for peace. The plea follows an unprecedented attack by Gaza's Hamas rulers, resulting in hundreds of casualties on both sides.
On Sunday, Riyad Mansour, the highest-ranking Palestinian representative to the United Nations, issued a plea for an end to the bloodshed in the region, emphasizing the need for Israel to change course in order to pave the way for peace.
Regrettably, history for some media and politicians start when Israelis are killed. Our people have endured one deadly year after another. We came to the Security Council month after month, warning of the consequences of Israeli impunity and international inaction.
Mansour's statement comes in the wake of an unprecedented assault on Israel by the militant Hamas rulers of the Gaza Strip, a conflict that has already claimed hundreds of lives on both sides. Appointed by the Palestinian National Authority, which maintains administrative control in the West Bank, Mansour highlighted the loss of control over the Gaza Strip to Hamas after the 2006 elections.
This is not a time to let Israel double down on its terrible choices. This is a time to tell Israel it needs to change course, that there is a path to peace, where neither Palestinians nor Israelis are killed.
He pointed out that the United Nations had been consistently warned about the dire consequences of Israel's impunity in its blockade of Gaza, which were now tragically unfolding before the international community's eyes.
We have been calling for a different rationale, a different approach. Justice, not vengeance. Freedom, not occupation. Peace, not war. Our calls should be heeded. The alternative is playing out under our very eyes.
Hamas launched a sudden, multi-pronged assault on Israel via air, land, and sea on Saturday, catching many off guard.
You cannot stand for peace if you do not stand up to occupation. Do it because it is the right thing to do. Morally, legally, politically, and because it will save lives. Peace will save lives because it is the only way forward.
With reported casualties surpassing 700 in Israel, an alarming toll not seen in decades, and over 300 in Gaza due to relentless Israeli retaliatory airstrikes, Mansour underscored that an end to the blockade could potentially open up a new path towards resolution.
Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a good day.